Hey guys, welcome to Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews. I'm your host, Boise, and let's see if SmackDown Live can keep up its impressive momentum going into Backlash this Sunday. So here we go, SmackDown Live review. So we started off the show with Paige making two big announcements at the start of the show. One, Shane O'Mac will not be on the show because of the injuries he acquired during the match at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and as well Daniel Bryan has not been medically cleared to take part on SmackDown Live as well because the doctors were worried he will get a chest infection from his injuries from the Greatest Royal Rumble. So that was two big names already ruled out, but she did say Daniel Bryan will be taking part at Backlash, so that is some good news. She also in the show, we also got a backstage segment with Paige, which was quite interesting altogether. We had Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville finally meeting Paige backstage as the new GM. As we all know, they are partners in Absolution, and Paige said, one of you two is going to get chosen. They thought they were going to get a title opportunity straight away because they were all part of Absolution at one point, but no. Mandy Rose was selected to take on Becky Lynch next week on SmackDown Live, and she's also said that Absolution is now dead. What does this mean for Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose? Will they be repackaged into a tag team? Who knows, but this is quite interesting. That was the most interesting thing backstage for Paige, stating that Absolution is completely dead. That's our opening segment of the show, where we had Miz TV. And his special guest this week was Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. Both men will be taking part against each other at Backlash for the United States title. But the only reason Jeff was invited to come on to Miz TV is because The Miz was bigging himself up before his match against Seth Rollins at Backlash. And this worked really well because Jeff was like, "Oh, did you invite me just to ask me these questions?" And he went, "Yes." And it was brilliant. It's a great segment start to the show. Shelton Benjamin also came out and stated that Randy wasn't worthy of taking on Jeff for the title because he lost to him, and so Shelton should be the one taking on Jeff Hardy in a match. This led to a match itself, and the match itself was a good kickoff show match for me. Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton working really well together, and Shelton Benjamin and The Miz were really great heel tag team as well. Quite a few cheap shots to work together. Every time it looked like Jeff had a counter for The Miz. The Miz and Shelton used dirty tactics to get one over on Jeff and Randy. By the end, Randy Orton got an RKO on Shelton Benjamin, which he tagged in Jeff Hardy. Swanton bomb, they got the win, and before we know it, RKO out of nowhere on Jeff Hardy, giving Jeff that warning, yes, we were partners tonight, but on Sunday, I am going to take my US title back. So for me, it was an awesome opening to the show itself. Next up, we had Big Cass come out and pretty much mock Daniel Bryan. He pretty much stated, "Daniel, get out here," calling him out. The fans were like, hold on. We just heard from Paige, he's not medically cleared to come out. His music hits, the crowd go crazy. Nope, it's just a small person dressed up as Daniel Bryan. Now, this type of gimmicks you usually used to see on old school WWE, and I thought it worked quite well, you know. Big Cass was using a lot of short jokes. The whole thing is Daniel Bryan is too short to be a superstar. It's a stupid reason to have a feud, but it kind of helps Jeff, you know, kind of helps Big Cass for himself, you know, pushing him into that big heel segment, which he really needs to be put on. And Daniel Bryan's the perfect opponent for him because everyone loves Daniel Bryan. He's the best babyface in the company right now. So it worked. It works quite well. And when Big Cass started attacking the short person afterwards, the crowd just went ballistic and they were booing the hell out of him. Exactly what you want in a segment like this. Next up, we did have Shinsuke Nakamura demanding a public apology from AJ Styles. So we started the segment off with AJ and Renee Young in the ring, and Renee asking, "Are you going to apologise to Shinsuke Nakamura of what you did to him at the Greatest Royal Rumble?" AJ said no. pretty much saying he cheated and cheated and cheated, and he's only obsessed with one set of jewels, which he shouldn't be wearing, which is the low blow kind of move. We thought Shinsuke was going to come out at this point, but no, we had Samoa Joe come out, and Samoa Joe cut an absolutely killer promo. Again, Joe being MVP on these kind of segments right now. He's stealing the show every time he comes out. Pretty much saying he's gonna beat Roman Reigns, and it still gives you back to that Backlash match where he's like, I'm focused on that, but here's the warning for you and Nakamura. Doesn't matter who of you two wins, I'm going to take you on and lift the title from one of you. And the next thing we know, Nakamura comes out of nowhere and low blows AJ Styles. AJ's out cold, Nakamura's mocking him, looks like he's gonna finish him off, doesn't first time, then finally uses his finisher, the Kinshasa, on him and mocks him even more while he's on the ground in absolutely pain. Good, strong segment, really looking forward to Nakamura versus AJ, and that we're gonna see this, Nakamura lifting up the title. The crowd had a bit of a massive pop for that, so hopefully we could see a heel Nakamura champion sooner rather than later. Our next match was Xavier Woods taking on Sheamus. Now this all started through a backstage segment where Sheamus and Cesaro were holding their new SmackDown Live contracts. They bumped into the New Day, who offered them pancakes as a welcoming gift to SmackDown Live. The Bar wanted something different. Sheamus and Cesaro wanted a match. Sheamus challenged Xavier Woods to the match, and we got the match itself. The match itself was well put together for me, and it really does hopefully show that we're going to have the Bar taking on the New Day again in a fresh rivalry for me. One, because last time we saw these two teams pair up against each other, both teams were technically baby faces. Now that we have a very strong heel team in the Bar, this could be really, really interesting. I hope this does happen. Now, the match itself was very, very much a lot of stuff going around the ring more than actually focusing on the match. The match itself was well put together. Xavier Woods was strong from the start, but Sheamus, being the stronger, bigger man, did pull back the momentum to himself. Obviously, Big E and Kofi Kingston tried to help Xavier when Cesaro started to get involved, but it didn't really make a massive difference until later on when the numbers game really did affect Sheamus' concentration, and that allowed Xavier Woods to get a quick pinfall on Sheamus. This means that the Bar's technically their first match on SmackDown Live is in a defeat, but this is only a singles match. Hopefully we can still see a tag team match between these two and see a great build-up of a rivalry. I hope the Bar are soon pushed into that position where they can challenge for the tag team titles, because they were one of my favourite teams on Raw. Now that they're on SmackDown, cannot wait to see what they can do. I want to talk about something which also happened backstage, and this was... Usually I don't really talk a lot about the backstage segments because they don't really affect the show that much, but this one kind of affects something important to the SmackDown show. Lana, Rusev and Aiden English had a backstage segment where Aiden English and Rusev were practicing new lyrics for Rusev Day. Lana came round the corner wearing a Rusev Day t-shirt, and she said she needed to talk to her husband in private. Aiden English walked away, obviously, you know, he's friends with Rusev, and she said that Rusev, you had a great match against The Undertaker, but you lost, and why is that? Indicating that it's Aiden English's fault that Rusev lost against The Undertaker. Now, does this mean we're going to see an end to the awesome partnership, I think very impressive partnership between Rusev and Aiden English? If this is true, does that mean we're going to see the formation of Lana and Rusev as manager and athlete? If that is true, I would love to see that, but I don't want to see Aiden English get pushed to the sides and be left, because I think the Rusev Day stuff has helped his momentum in the company as well. But we'll just have to wait and see. But it was very interesting to see this segment full stop, because it could be the end of Rusev and Aiden English partners. This moves us on to our main event for the show, where we had a 6-woman tag team match where we had Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch and Asuka taking on the heel team of Carmella, the new SmackDown Women's Champion, and the IIconics, where we had Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. And for me, this was a decent match. This was very well put together. Again, I'm very impressed with the matches we're getting from SmackDown Live. And I thought this was just going to be a throwaway match like we saw between Natalya and Mickey K, which we saw on Raw. But no, this match had absolutely if it had a little bit more time, it would have been probably perfect. But for me, it had just the right amount of time. Everyone got to show off their big moves, apart from Becky's submission move, but that's her finisher. But yeah, there is a massive difference on the SmackDown Women's Division compared to the Raw Women's Division. You can tell where everyone is kind of joining up. Becky Lynch is now in that segment of, could she turn heel? Maybe, maybe not. She's very much contemplating her place in the SmackDown Women's Division, which is an interesting story, full stop. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce bringing a fresh look in the Women's Division, where they don't fight like singles competitors, they fight like a tag team, and that we've not really seen that properly put together ever in the Women's Division. So that's very interesting. Charlotte and Carmella could be an interesting rivalry if it's booked right, and I think they're gonna do that. And Asuka getting the victory today after losing at Mania, losing on her first night on SmackDown, finally getting a win on SmackDown her second night. Just, it all worked together. But for me, it was a good match. The baby faces winning. The match was well put together, and there was nothing really I could complain about. So yeah, great main event for the show. And there you go, guys, that was SmackDown Live. There was not a lot of matches, there was a lot more segment pieces than what we usually see, but it just felt like there was a lot more going on SmackDown than there was on Raw this week. SmackDown just feels like everyone has this, even the big names like the Usos and the Bludgeon Brothers, who were missing from this week. It didn't feel like we missed them too much because there's so much going on. For me, it's definitely showing that SmackDown has the bigger roster, and there's so much to go on with SmackDown right now. I'm really excited to see what happens at Backlash. I'll be doing my Backlash predictions video this week, so keep tuned for that. And if you do like our videos, guys, please like and subscribe to the channel, please. It means the world to the show and for me. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do. I'm at Boise88. You can follow the channel itself at Smack Talk YouTube, and you can see me next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.